Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Are we still allowed to have doubts? Are we still allowed to say, well, I'm not convinced. Your evidence do not convince me. You need more. I need more evidence. Are we allowed to say that without being arrested, reprimanded, beaten, called names? Can we still do that? It seems like not. So what happened? Here we go again. Another people were allegedly poisoned. You know why and by whom. But guess what? They didn't die. Again. So I have doubts. I have doubts for many reasons. If you look at this, obviously they blame the Russians. The Russians poisoned them and somehow they survived. These are allegations. For me, I have a lot of questions, and the first question is very strange they didn't die. And you say, well, sometimes they didn't die. Okay, give me the names that died of being poisoned by the Russians. I think it's only one in London. Remember that guy about 15 years ago or so? The Ukrainian guy in bed dying, and I think he was allegedly poisoned with plutonium or something like this, with radioactive something. That's what they said. I don't remember anybody else. I don't remember anybody else. And if it was, maybe it was another one. But then I heard about 5 cases at least of being poisoned by the Russians, but not dead. I know one is Poroshenko. Remember the former Ukrainian president? He got poisoned, but he didn't die. Then you got the guys in London. I can't remember how many there were. Then you got Navalny, that guy, outspoken critic of Putin. He didn't die. And he's in Russian custody and he's still alive, somehow. These guys again, well, all I can say is that I have great doubts that the Russians, the criminals, are so ineffective. I mean, if you look at 2 at the most that I know, one I know died, I don't know the other one, but I give it by default, say make it 2. And I know at least 6 that didn't die. It's 6-2. I mean, that's not a good ratio right there, you know what I mean? So, I don't wish these people to die, but I doubt it that the Russians are so flimsy, the Russian criminals, in doing their job. I know there are books written over there about other services and agencies on this planet that committed so many assassinations with poisoning and other ways, dropping in your ear mercury and pinching you with a little umbrella and many other ways. There are books over there. I read a few of them, and I can tell you there are some countries in the Middle East that are very good at that. According to me, according to the books, they're available. There's not something it's verboten. You can't read it or something like that. And some of them are proud of those achievements. Obviously, the ones that perpetrated. But the ratio of the attacks, like you open a package and it's very high. But somehow the Russians are bad at this. It's not like they're bad at everything, but hating everybody. And they're bad, and they're good at being bad. That's another thing they're good. Maybe they're good of hating and very good as being bad of things. They're very good of not doing things right. Like they build stupid airplanes that are not good. They disorganized. They have a rusty military weaponry and all that. But somehow, they're good at being stupid and bad. Somehow, this is what these guys are telling us. I don't believe that at all. So let's see what happened here. And this little article that these guys are trying to, turn it into another thing. The Hill. Germany investigating alleged poisoning of anti-Putin activists in Berlin. Report. Brandenburg Tor. I saw this one when the wall was still there and you couldn't cross. And I saw it also when you could cross through it. So, anyway. German police are investigating the alleged poisoning of 2 anti-Putin activists in Berlin, according to media reports. Police told Reuters that they have opened an investigation after 2 activists who attended a conference in Germany capital in late April reported health problems. Both attended the event held by Mikhail Khodorkovsky, a former oil tycoon and prominent critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to the Russian investigative media, blah, blah, blah. So this guy right here, good job. All right, so I don't know what happened, but I have doubts. Can I have doubts? Can I ask questions? I'm not convinced. I'm telling you this. Do you think that, let's say Putin would be the way these guys say it is? Do you think he would give up if Navalny is alive or dead? Do you think he would give up what these guys in the West will say? I mean, according to these guys, he kills whomever is against him, and whoever says Putin is not perfect, he gets killed or something, thrown over his balcony. I don't deny that something like this could happen, as it could happen everywhere on this planet. Only here it can't. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But it's very strange that Navalny doesn't get sick. I mean, let's say Navalny, that guy who's imprisoned for tax evasion and fraud, I think, not tax evasion, fraud and all that, and by violating his parole. Now, here in the United States, if you violate your parole, you do the whole thing. So he violated his parole, he left the country while being placed on parole. People familiar with it know what that exactly means if he was not allowed to leave. Because you have to ask your, probation parole officer, hey, can I go over there? And with his approval, you can go over to the judge and all that. It's a whole process over there. He just went to Germany for treatment for poisoning, and when he came back, he got arrested on Tamarack over there, landing in Moscow, I think, and everybody was, oh my God, that's political. Well, he violated his fucking parole. What do you want? That would happen in any civilized world, but Russia is not civilized. Anyway, even if it tries, according to these guys. So Navalny is over there. Do you think that this guy cannot be, not little, one dose? Who do you think is going to investigate? The bad Russians are going to investigate it. And the Russians will say, well, just died of natural causes. And by the way, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And there's many ways. Remember, Epstein committed suicide. You know what I mean? So, if you want, Rudolf Hess, that Nazi, he committed suicide in Spandau prison, remember? And then when Rudolf Hess's, how do you call it, that was placed in, how do you call it? Carcass comes here, and not carcass, how do you call it? Put it in the, whatever, it was sealed. And the family took it sealed, and then I remember the word when we go, casket, Jesus Christ. It was sealed, and the family took it, said they will not want to open, it was sealed. They opened it and did a second autopsy. And the second autopsy revealed something else. And anyway, Navalny somehow wants to survive and nobody, but even if they would just do something bad, flee here, Navalny, who will, the same, these guys, oh my God, we were poisoned, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just thinking, these guys are so bad in doing that. And I think that, again, they say like they use something, Novichok again. It must be Russian, because that's invented by Russians. It's like you say, well, someone used a Colt revolver, therefore they're Americans. Who committed a crime is an American. Why? Because it was, we found the weapon, and the weapon was a Colt revolver, I'm sorry. What? Whereas someone hit someone with a Mercedes, it must be German, the one who hit and ran. Why? Because he drove a Mercedes? Yes. I mean, how dumb can you be? But they're okay because they are like that. And they bet on that. And they see how far it pushes. They don't have to hit everybody. They have to have about 20-30% of the population. That's it. That's all they need. And those 30% will be more than the doubters. Or the people would get it. That would be 5%, 1%, 3%. Those will be the ones to get it. You're going to go and vote against the 30%? Read propaganda. And I recommend Jacques Ellul, one of my, if not the favorite book that I read about propaganda. Is a French psychologist, I think he was, in 1960s. He wrote this book, Propaganda, Jacques Ellul. And look for the guy. Very interesting, very good book. I underline when I read books, I underline or I write on the side things. This book is entirely underwritten and read all kind of notes I took like that. I like everything over there is like gold or diamond or platinum or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I don't know if these guys were poisoned or not, but I just want to point out that these Russians are just bad at everything but at being bad. They're good as being so clumsy, somehow. Again, I mean, anyway, you know what I mean. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.